little bit about us. Thanks for mentioning you've watched a couple of our videos and seen the newsletters. Essentially, the reason why we do this is because we're a business as well. We've got an agency that helps other businesses grow on Faire after all the success we had with Bearkind, our bamboo sock business. So we're just trying to grow that side. The whole idea between this meeting is to show everyone exactly what needs to be done on people's accounts. For those people that are too busy, we will work on their account for them essentially. Want to jump into this though, the main area on Faire's priorities. So two kind of key priorities that we see from Faire at the moment is one on retailer growth and two on gross merchandise value. On retailer growth, Faire is obviously a two-sided marketplace. They've got brilliant brands on there. Obviously, you guys are there as well. And what they need to do to continue to grow on their platform is continue to grow their retailer base. So they're focusing on the retailers. They feel a bit unbalanced there. And that's just because obviously brands are going to make a lot of money off the back of selling through Faire. Retailers, the value proposition isn't as clear and amazing as it is for brands. So bring retailers to Faire and keep them coming back. Number one priority. Number two priority is growing gross merchandise value volume. And gross merchandise is basically another way for saying revenue for brands. And then they obviously take a commission, transaction fees off the side of it. They're not aiming to increase that. They're aiming to increase GMV because it will also help us as brand owners. But unfortunately, that's not the most perfect way that the algorithm can work. And now I'll show you in a couple slides time the most important factors you can do to drive business to Faire, and then they will bring you 5 to 10 times more retailers than you bring them. I've seen this time and time again with every single client we've worked with, every brand we've worked with. And so really doubling down on conversion rate is absolutely crucial. Growing the Faire retailer base through direct is crucial. But it's not just about that first purchase, it's about getting them converting and then keeping them coming back. This is the reason why it's so important to get them coming back. This is across all of our retailers. We get clients in at about $250 for the first order for a retailer. But then by the end of 12 months, on average, they've spent $3,200. And so that just shows you how important it is, even if it is a relatively small order. And most of our clients or brands that we work with are at a 0 MOQ, and we highly recommend that. That'd be the number one takeaway from this slide, a 0 MOQ to bring people in and get them coming back on an ongoing basis. And that's what you're going to do with your brilliant products. And just trying to bring this to life really specifically, what are the exact numbers? So we've got brands that were on from the very beginning with Faire, and that's kind of at 17.4%. So they have a lot of people. Hey, Kerry, great to see you. They have a lot of brands. Just kind of going through a few things here, Kerry. Sorry for any difficulties with the meeting invite. But
not to worry. Thank
cool.
you.
No, all good. Sorry about that. On the Faire direct orders, the main thing is like there are brands here that have been here from the very beginning, and they are now bringing in 5 times more marketplace orders than they've got from Faire direct orders. So the marketplace is where brands get big on Faire. And then the repeat purchase volume, that's the next section, right? So for every client you bring in that only orders once, the next client will order 10 times more. And it just shows you the power of repeat purchase volume. So that's where you get all of your gross merchandise value. Then how do we connect into what makes sense for the retailer? So the retailer is ordering on average every 120 days, on median every 61 days. So you really want to be hammering those people, hammering is the wrong word, we're targeting our retailers on every 61 days. Okay, let's make our next order. Let's encourage them to come back on a regular basis. So this is what the numbers tell us from working with all the brands we do. And it's what we would imagine would work as well for you. The way that we drive that is obviously across what we're calling like our Faire Flywheel. And the optimization is really important to be able to set in place the right rhythm for the algorithm to be able to pick up that you've got a great product, bring in new businesses by acquiring them through cold email and the like, nurture them, get them keeping coming back, weekly emails, constant messaging, and then what can you do at point number 4 to influence your business, not just on the optimizations for Faire, but specific Faire product optimizations, business optimizations, to keep businesses coming back. The best businesses here, there's no hack on Faire. The best businesses on Faire are the best businesses, full stop. So it's kind of about working through all of that. So guys, just a really brief overview, 5-minute kind of like deep dive, but it helps set the scene for every single thing that I'll talk about today. We'll be focused on these 2 priorities and keep coming back to that because that's what grows the best product category winning brands that we work with. Guys, any questions as we go through here? No issues if not. Perfect. What I'll ask, guys, if you want to whack your questions in the comment section, we've got some pre-asked questions as well, which I'm more than happy to jump into straight away. But you know, it's a much smaller number of people tonight, guys, so we can get a bit more, what's the word? A bit more, you know, personalized and kind of go through that really specifically. Pri, did you have any questions that you wanted to start off with? I know you've got a gorgeous brand here.
No questions per se, but I can share a couple of things that I'm working on. I have definitely, spent more time with email marketing and sourcing leads.
Yeah.
And that has, for the amount of work that I've done, I think that has been mediocre progress, I would say. I definitely need to send out more emails and be more diligent about it. What I worry about is that I'm sending out too many emails and too many messages, and then, I'm worried about like them unsubscribing or reporting to spam, which will impact my, just all the downstream impacts of like um, impacting deliverability, things like that. So, any thoughts on that would help.
Yeah, absolutely. Well done. Firstly, so many people don't bring businesses into Faire as a platform because, like you say, it's hard, it's manual work, and it really requires a bit of an overhead. That your comment around, you know, I feel like I've got median success from that, um, is not dissimilar to what we see across all of our brands. The key thing that we want to be optimizing for, though, is that we want to be number one in the search algorithm. The search algorithm has 200 different factors of why it will push you first. One of those factors we know is how many retailers does a brand bring to the platform. So if you're the number one person in your product category, right, Pri, and how would you describe your product category? Would it be, okay, skincare? Would that be the easiest way to
Uh,
kind of top
yeah,
level? Yeah. So like you want to be the number one person in skincare in terms of bringing retailers to Faire. If you're bringing in consistently on a monthly basis, a couple clients, even just one, you're going to be in front of 90% of clients to 99% of brands, I should say, in terms of, you know, being in front of them in number one in the algorithm. So keep focusing on that. That's the main thing here. We're not going to grow the business through Faire Direct by bringing retailers in. It's through adding a couple retailers to Faire, because Faire's really, especially in the US, now has quite a captive market on the retailer side, and they've done incredibly well there. So you're only going to be able to bring in one or two that haven't seen Faire yet, but that will still make you the number one business on Faire, and that's where we want to be. The second thing I would say is just keep coming back to them, right? So nurture emails. We want to focus on information and education. They're the two key areas that we want to focus on. We want to make it about selling. Everything that the retailer is doing, right, is about selling your product. And so many brands focus on selling their product to the retailers, not focus on selling a product that is going to be sellable for the retailers or helping the retailers sell. And that's what we want to do. So every one of those emails should be focused on that. If you are a skincare brand, for example, and you sell, let's talk about maybe people have more showers in summer. And so you're a seasonal brand and you're focusing on summer. Give all of that information that you know when you're selling products to people and how you sell them. Give that information to retailers and try and make it as easy as possible. And then third, to kind of the downstream impacts that you mentioned, Pri, is around making sure that you're doing it in the right way. Rubbish in means rubbish out. Don't send bad emails. Focus, spend a little time to build a kind of a simple email flow to introduce your brand, introduce your USPs. Pri, do you mind if we share my screen on your account as a retailer account?
not at all. Please
Is
go
that all
ahead.
right? I'll help me talk a little bit more as well onto it. You've got great products here. They look fantastic. Obviously, the pricing here, I'm kind of looking at it as a UK retailer. Are you mostly a US business, Pri?
Yes.
Yeah. So the pricing, ignore that, but gorgeous looking products. You've got a really easy way to merchandise these. You've got video, which is number one that we want to be pushing. You've also done a great job at the infographics, adding that onto the product photography. Is this did you do this specifically for Faire or did you do it for Amazon, for example?
No, I'm not on Amazon with these products.
Okay, cool. But this looks fantastic. Really, Really good product photography. And this is the type of thing that I want your retailers to be receiving when they receive your emails as well. Kind of, and then last thing on the retailer email perspective is you can segment your profile. And I'm sorry I can't do it on my, I can't show you what that would look like on my screen because we'll just show you our clients as well. But you can go into the segments on customers and then go filters. And then you can create a custom segment to find all of those people who their email deliverability status is soft bounce, hard bounce, spam, or unsubscribed. And then if they haven't ordered, remove them all. And that's just going to keep your list nice and clean. We do that for our brands every week before we send out the nurture email that we send out weekly. But you know, if it's a, you know, obviously you've got a lot of other tasks that you'll be doing, running your business, then we'd recommend doing it once a month, just to kind of keep that email list clear. Leave the people on there though, because I can't tell you how many businesses we've worked with 2 years, 3 years. You know what it's like. Retailers are busy. They're going to come to you. They finally come to you a couple years later. It feels like, you know, just yesterday that they first started receiving your emails. They're still opening them. Leave them in there. Eventually they will convert. You'll get the Faire Direct credit for that as well. So that's kind of.
Do you keep them in the customer list but remove them from the campaign?
I would keep them in the customer list and I would continue to email them unless they've soft bounced or hard bounced, unsubscribed, or spam reported you.
Got it.
Yeah.
And just one follow-on question from there. I have a series of like 4 or 5 emails that I send to like cold leads.
Bro.
Do you recommend, if I have not seen any activity on their part, like they've probably just opened the emails or not even that, to still like put them in my regular email that I send out, which is not like an acquisition email flow?
Yes, we would. The main thing is 5 emails is a short period of time to be able to engage people. And what I would probably do is we recommend just a 2 email flow: brand introduction, brand USP, focus really simply, and then bring them into the nurture. The nurture should be where you're delivering that value on an ongoing basis to all of your clients and all of your potential leads. Hopefully that information and educational campaign is telling them exactly how to sell. You know, it's that kind of, you know, have you ever done trade shows or market stalls or anything like that?
Yes.
Yeah. You know that, you know, when someone comes up to you, right, you're the brand owner, no one's going to know more about the brand than you. What's that type of, you know, question? They maybe come up, maybe it's a gentleman asking this about, you know, would this be a great present for his wife, or, you know, and then you go through those kind of objection handling questions, all of that type of thing, emails. And that's what you can do to kind of plan it out.
Got it. All right. Thank you.
No probs.
Sorry, can I quickly go back to where you're seeing the segments?
Yeah, sure.
Able to catch that.
Yeah, definitely. So if you bring up,
look in the customers, right? The customer section or marketing.
Yeah, if you go onto customers on the left-hand side, and then the top left-hand side of the section that it opens up on, it should say segment, and then all contacts.
Okay.
Can you see that?
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, nice. Yeah. Then what you can do is you can click create a new segment, and on the side your filter option should open up. Once that opens up, you should be able to then click campaign activity. If you see that.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
There it is.
And then email delivery, and then you want to select hard bounce, soft bounce, unsubscribe, spam report, and apply.
Got it.
Then save that as a segment. What that will then do is you can then, obviously you just save it as a segment and you just write, cleaning up section or however you want to talk about it.
Got it. Okay.
And then the one that we also should have added as well is order history has never ordered. That's what I also like to apply. And then that should bring up a whole bunch of people that have spam reported, etc. And then you can just remove those people.
So it's not a good idea to kind of hammer the people that haven't ordered, even though they're like in your customer system. They just hesitation or something like that, or
it's more focused on those that haven't ordered and have hard bounced or soft bounced or unsubscribed or spam reported.
Got it. Okay.
That's the most important thing. Those people are just reducing your deliverability score. If you're delivering them to it consistently and it's fine, leave them in, no problems. Maybe a couple of years later they convert.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
that makes sense. Thank you. And then I just had a quick question too on emails. I guess it's for everybody because we basically just do manual outreach. Like we just, we find similar comps to like existing customers and just kind of do outreach. Is, you know, are people doing paid like email lists, or like, you know, what's the, I guess, like, what are some tips to find, you know, certain like higher volume leads? Because right now it's a very manual process for us.
100%. And Clay, what's your business? Do you mind telling us?
So we make diverse kids books. So
Cool.
they're very niche, but we like to think that we focus on, you know, higher quality stories and higher quality books. So my assumption is like we're not as liquid as like, you know, perhaps your business with socks or like other products that are just easier to buy. And we have like a wide range of different target segments too. It could be like sometimes bookstores buy from us rather than going through their trade wholesale. We get a lot of gift shop orders. Sometimes we get grocery stores because we have books about food. So it's very all over the place due to the nature of like just book topics being all over the place. So So I guess my question is like, given that, like, I guess just any sort of like, you know, guidance to getting more leads that are better, you know, just more efficiently would be helpful.
Yeah, 100%. Guys, honestly, great work doing that. Same with you. So many businesses don't. So you guys are already in the top 10%. Even just getting anything in, you're doing well. A couple things that I would recommend, Clay. So always go biggest customer first. Find those, you've probably already done that, hence why you've got such great segmentation. Always go biggest first, see where they are. But just for, you know, assumption's sake, say it's a bookstore. Then what we do is we go to Google Maps, find those bookstores that have, and scroll through Google Maps and find those leads. And the best thing is when you say manual, do you mean you're manually emailing them one by one, or are you putting them into Faire and then uploading them and then emailing them? What does that look like?
So very good question. So it is manual in the sense of we're doing what you're doing, like suggesting, but instead of Google Maps, we just kind of like go to, we just do general Google searches.
Yeah.
And sometimes that leads to maps or some other lists that may be curated by editorial outlets, who knows. So we'll do that. But then, yes, it is manual because we're not adding them to our newsletter per se.
Yeah.
So we are reaching out personally via Google and giving them an unsubscribe option in hopes that they convert and then move them on to Faire.
Yeah.
Because I guess we just are hyper aware that we don't want to get dinged for just like adding them to a mail list on Faire.
Yeah. So the main thing is that you need to do it in a lawful way that makes sense for them. Business to business email communication means that you can email them if you have a lawful purpose in the States.
Okay.
Different around the world. So, you know, trying to avoid California, for example, focus on other areas. I don't know where you're based out of, but what we like to do
we're in California, yeah. So
you're in California.
More strict.
So don't worry about California. Focus on other areas. But start in concentric circles. So walk yourself out essentially state by state, pull up Nevada, etc., and then walk your way out because that's where you're going to have the fastest shipping times. That's also going to make your conversion rate better on the platform because when someone looks at your store, the store days in terms of how long it takes before it gets shipped to you will be smaller, which makes them much more likely to convert. So that's what you can influence. So let's go concentric circles outwards like that. Start with your biggest customers, those that are the most likely to convert. You probably already know them, like you said, bookstores. That's probably like the manual side of things. And then the way that you kind of describe that manual process of, you know, Google emailing them, then pushing them through to Faire seems it's very intense. And it's something that we've tried across multiple businesses. What I would 100% recommend is use Faire's email tools. They're great.
Okay.
Save them up, you know, get someone in the team. We've got someone in our team who does this for all of our brands that we work with. And it's their job to go find these people. Don't buy lists. If it's a list that's been bought, you can buy, it's been put onto Faire and already been sent heaps of emails. The quality will be terrible.
Right.
Make sure that you're focusing on good quality emails, but you need to add a bit of volume into it. You're not you know, emailing people cold through Google manually yourself. Just, you know, running that is, you know, a recipe for some very tired fingers and an upset business owner. I can assure you that. So get them in, whack them into Faire, and then let Faire do the heavy lifting. do an individual email message. And whilst you might get, say, a 50% increase in open rates because you target it specifically to them, it's going to take you 100 hours versus you can get 100 leads and you might have 50% less conversion rate by putting them through Faire, but you're going to get much more customers actually convert because you're spending more time on the more important thing, which is finding those businesses who are maybe interested, right? That's the most important part.
So sorry, just to clarify, you're suggesting when I move them onto Faire, it's better to do a higher volume outreach rather than individual interest. Okay. Cool.
Absolutely.
Because that's what we were doing, and yes, very tired email fingers. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we definitely give that a shot.
And then Clay, what I'd say, do you mind sharing the name of your business, and can we have a look at it?
For sure. It's Glue Books.
Glue Books.
GLOO books.com.
Cool.
And then for Faire, it's like faire.com/direct/Glue Books. It should be
amazing. I'll share something with you as well on our business, right? So on the core Bear Kind business with our animal saving bamboo socks, very niche. Mm-hmm. Clay, we never worked with sales agents. Every sales agent we worked with struggled to kind of get into a rhythm that would work because they would be manually paving the going out there to trying to do the sales. But because we were so niche on animal saving bamboo socks, it just didn't work for general boutiques. But we worked for animal lovers, right? I imagine that you're in a relatively similar base kind of position as well. You're not going to appeal to everybody. That's fine. But Faire's the platform for you because there's going to be someone who is interested in Filipino food, Japan, baby, go. That type of thing is absolutely fantastic to be able to focus on. And so, like, go broad and let them find you and self-select in with as wide a pool as possible. If you do the targeted outreach, I think it's going to be hard.
Right. Okay.
But awesome. Look, I love the idea. Do you mind if we do a bit of a review on your product?
No, please. Yeah. We were always open to feedback, and honestly, we've just been kind of like white knuckling it ourselves. We watched a lot of your videos, so thank you guys. You guys are a wealth of content. It's kind of hard to get through everything, but you guys definitely have given us some like tips on like optimization and things like that. So yeah, anything would be helpful.
Yeah, absolutely. What I would say here is, Pre's got a great example as well. I'll probably put them kind of like side by side, actually. Not to kind of like, point fingers of good or bad, but more just to kind of like.
We are as humble as can be. We're willing to learn anything and intake anything we can get.
Let's because I think the most important thing that we can do is, here we go. So, let's just. Amazing product photography, really clear, good colors. I feel like I can see the quality already. And then you're going into a bit of product quality. We've got kind of the zoomed in photos. We're starting to understand a bit more about what's the product going to look like. Fantastic. We kind of go through the journey. Awesome. I feel really close. What I would like to see here, Clay in particular, is a detail focus. Something that's really showing the quality of the product that you're going to have. A mum or dad is going to have this in their hands whilst they're reading it to their kid, and they want to see the product and all of the love and care that you've put in from a design perspective, I imagine, is also reiterated on the back, on the bind, all that sort of stuff. Get in really close. That's what I would add. With all of this guidance I give you on the product photography as well, I like to say kind of two ways to do it. Everything going forward, try to perfect. Everything looking back, obviously you've got a decent sized catalog. It's going to take you a bit of time to redo or kind of add in those additional photos, but just try to get it so that everything going forward is going to be improved, like just a little bit of an improvement.
Okay.
Then I would love to see some lifestyle lifestyle or kind of like life cycle products, right? So your product, I imagine, is going to be sat there in bed with a son or daughter being read to, and similar to here with Step 0, completely different product, but the video shows someone using the product, and I instantly understand. Amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, and that just repeats. That just auto plays on repeat by itself, huh?
Easy.
In the carousel, in the feed. Okay.
And it looks so good.
Yeah, it does.
So really good work.
A variety of shots too with the little bullet points. I really like that.
Really good. That's another point that I'd like to see, right? The way that you pitched the product when you were talking about it and introducing it to us was, a diverse kids book, that is niche to some people. But what I'm hearing is diverse kid book that is going to be ultra precise for someone, you know? And that's, I imagine, where your kind of like USP is. So let's double down on that. Like what we've done here with Step Free from Pre is that like we've got these kind of points. Pre, one thing I would like to see on your products, right, is the use of iconography in particular. People don't love reading, they like the images. I think you've done a fantastic job with the imagery. I would just like to see some icons. You can go onto Etsy and find icon packs really easily for this. I would type in, skincare, beauty, icon pack from Etsy, maybe cost you $20 or something like that. And you'll get like 150 plus icons, stainless steel. You'll find something about durable. You'll find something refreshing. Maybe it's a lightning bolt or something. Minimalist might be like, simple. Just these things that kind of just elevate, again, your product photography. And same thing for you as well, Clay, on the iconography. Like, how do we do those kind of points? Diversity, amazing. Let's have a family of people.
We've just kind of put out like the books, pages in order. And I think that's probably not very engaging now that I'm seeing this comparison directly.
But what I really like about it, like the colors are fantastic. Like you've got
the art's great because we always try to be very selective and find high quality illustrators. So
and that's like lots of opportunity there. The other section that I would like to see, guys, from everybody, and I'll bring up our business as well. Backend. So a couple of additional areas to make it pop even more, guys, is the use of objection handling and kind of back to that point I was showing originally around making yourself as retailer friendly as possible. Here's kind of what we talk about with the iconography. We're in the process of redoing our brand to have more iconography across all of our product photos. But what we've got here, for example, clothing focuses on a size guide. They need to know exactly what's wrong with the product, or so what size works for each customer segment. So for example, it's going to be wrong for a kid's store if they're buying adult socks. And when does that kick in, right? Then we go into our FAQs. What materials? And this is the type of thing, guys, that you're going to be getting in your messages on Faire, or you get it when you're explaining your business and you don't feel like you've done a great job at that with the the imagery, or you haven't had enough of a chance for them to see, because it was really just like they land on the shop page, then they see your products. Hard to kind of convey all of those brand USPs. So here's a chance for you to double down on those brand USPs as well. If someone's asking you a question, 10 to 100 times those people are just asking the questions themselves and then just leaving and not coming back.
Right.
Same thing.
So you're answering them for them as they're just scrolling to prevent them from going anywhere else, or
exactly. Bring them in and get them to convert.
Wow.
100%. So absolutely something you can do as well. And guys, don't worry about the fact that these are buried. What we're trying to get here is those people that are spending the time to at least kind of open it up, and maybe they scroll down gently and they go, oh, what's this? This doesn't look like the product. Oh, okay, I'll have a look at the FAQs. Actually, whilst you're at it, how do other people present it? And then what does that look like on a retailer's shelf? Sorry, Pri, you're going to say something.
No, I was just acknowledging what you were saying.
Cool, nice.
That's cool. I like this. Is all great. Wow.
Would highly recommend. Clay, perfect example on books. Let's get a bookshelf. Can we get something branded from you guys? You might think it's going to be expensive, but you'd be really surprised at how reasonable point of sale manufacturers can be. Look for FSDU manufacturers or floor standing display unit manufacturers, counter display unit manufacturers, that type of thing. There'll be someone within a half an hour drive of you for sure, Clay, that does it. So, and then make it easy for them to be able to sell the product.
Got it.
And then this is probably my favorite one. This really brings it to life. You can see, okay, I can hang it with little hooks. I can hang it with big hooks. I can put it on a spinner. I can just lay it flat down. That's fantastic.
Yeah, I love it. It makes it just feel more real and not just like a blank, like not generic, but yeah, just like box. So it's great.
More of a pop. Kerry, we've spoken a bit so far with Clay and Pri. Did you want to ask a question, or was there anything specific that you wanted to kind of mention?
Well, actually, I'm thrilled because some of the questions provided and your answers provided me things I'm not doing. So again, writing copious notes, really helpful. Actually, at the moment, I don't. there was something yes, there was something, and I'm not sure I'm wording it correctly, but when we are on Faire and they're getting these deals, I want to make sure that my retailers get the same during that time. And one of the things I do for direct to consumer is I give a free gift with purchase. So I'm considering how to incorporate that in Faire and with my retailers, which I haven't, so that, there's no competition from me with my retailers.
And Kerry, would you mind sharing what business you run?
Yes, it's all natural perfume, Viva Essential Elixirs, and it's
Viva.
all natural perfume, beard oil. I have one lotion. I haven't the right recipe for any more than one yet.
That's fine. Would you be able to whack that in the chat? I'm
Yeah.
and then I'll bring it up. Essentially, how do we kind of Viva Essential Elixirs? Ah, cool. I found that online. Oh, yeah. And then you've got, sorry, I'll share my screen, guys. Cool. Great designs, good colors as well. And do you mention Wholesale down the bottom? Where do you mention Wholesale?
No, not on this. I've had lots of troubles with Shopify.
Yeah.
When they were not allowing me to mail, like get how much the shipping was going to cost.
Oh, yeah.
They gave me lots of trouble. Their frontline people believed it would work, and I had not my own staff, but from an agency, 2 agencies kept saying, no, it says it will, and it wouldn't. I switched over to making it, people had to click for the wholesale price. And so then I thought, well, it's only going to be for wholesale or retailers. Yeah. I didn't want to do it that way.
What I would highly
some allow that, but I don't know if this program I have allows both.
What I would recommend, guys, for sure, especially, Clay and Pre, I haven't checked out your business as well, but definitely add the wholesale options into your footer. And for some brands, they also add it into the top. Now, that's totally up to you, depending on how much sales you're doing for direct to consumer versus B2B. If you're overweight's the wrong word. If you are, if you're, say, 60, 75% direct to consumer, I wouldn't put it in the top menu. If you are over 50% business to business, then I would put it in your top menu. Otherwise, I would definitely have it in the footer and have a link to Faire Direct. That'd be kind of the first part. Then what I would say is, as I bring up, let's bring up, I'll go back to Bearkind and kind of share the promotion details. So this is what we always recommend for clients and brands. Across that promotion section is 3 always on promotions. So you max out the level. What you want to be encouraging retailers to do is, if they're a large multi-store retailer, they will expect a bigger discount than, say, a smaller retailer that's only got 1 store. And the reason why you're going to be able to offer a discount to them is because you're going to only have to ship to 1 of their stores, and then they can just split it up. There's going to be a lot less customer service queries because they will learn about it centrally, and then they'll distribute that knowledge out to their individual stores that they're working with, for example. So what we want to do is encourage those kind of distributor light types of businesses with a discount which makes sense for them. Now, everybody's gross margin is going to be different. So Kerry, yours on the perfumes, I imagine, is decent, but it will be very different to, for example, Books with Clay and Pre with the skincare products. They're always going to be up and down. But the most important thing is, for example, on socks, very high gross margin business. The problem with socks is it's very small cost of order, right? So you're not going to get an absolutely ginormous order because people have to buy hundreds and hundreds of pairs of socks to get a big order. But distributors will do that. And distributors in the sock business typically get 30 to 35% off. But if they're a bit smaller than that, we call our distributor light. So we give them 20% off. And that's for orders over $2,500, I think it is. And then about $1,000 for 10% and free shipping, and then free shipping over around our average order value, or to encourage people. Shipping in the UK, for example, is very cheap. So we can have a very cheap free shipping tier. And this is the 3 tiers that we would recommend. In terms of buy one with purchase, or get free with purchase, gift with purchase, sorry. I like it for direct consumer. I like it less for business to business because stores will have a limited amount of space. But that doesn't mean you can't do it. I would definitely recommend doing it to those businesses where you think you can get them across the line, say, for example, with a new product line. Clay, with your products specifically, for example, maybe they buy the Filipino food one, or they buy, so let's say I saw kind of 2 Japanese books there. Maybe you also put, they buy 10 of one Japanese book and then you give them another Japanese book for free, depending again what your gross margins look like. That can work, but I would think about it in the perspective of, are they going to then be able to sell more off the back of it after you've kind of given that little gift with purchase? That's what I'd say, Kerry.
That's very helpful, because I am concerned too about what gift with what purchase. They'll get confused. They may want to give away something more expensive than the person purchased. And there is a small profit margin on it because it's all natural, very high quality ingredients. Sure. So I have to be super careful. But what then I do is remove my free gift with purchase to consumers, because I want to switch over massively to wholesale. I really do.
Yeah. Then I would run for it, give them a discount where you can, but make sure it makes sense for your profit margins. Those numbers I shared work for apparel, but they won't work for you, like you've kind of mentioned. So make sure the discount makes sense. Don't over discount. You don't want to paint your product, unless you're kind of really margin sensitive, or your retailers are margin sensitive. You don't want to be a discount heavy retailer. You also want that promotion to be on all the time for forever, so that your retailers learn exactly what it's going to be forever, and they don't have to worry. It's not like when you're going into Faire Summer Market. Obviously, Faire is currently providing 5% additional discount for Faire Summer Market that they're funding. Amazing. Do add an extra 5% to your margins, to your discount. They're funding it, and then a retailer won't be questioning you because they know that Faire has funded that additional 5%. Oh, I didn't get it last time. I'm sorry you didn't get it last time. It'll be back for Faire Summer Market, Faire Winter Market. I can't provide that additional 5%. I'm sorry that you missed it. Please speak with Faire Support. I'm happy to support you if Faire Support will offer that. But otherwise, you just need to be really consistent with retailers. They will then learn. You'd be so surprised at how many retailers will come out of the woodwork. Retailers absolutely love cheaper products. They are less worried about how much cash it requires them to invest into stock if you're giving them a good enough discount. All they'll see is, oh my God, this is 20% cheaper. My profits will be 20% higher. They're not too worried. Some retailers are not too worried about the cash implications of a bigger order. So that's something you can think about and play with. Clay, great question. Do promoted listings work on Faire? Clay and Pri, did you guys want to mention anything about that? We can talk about that now.
Yeah, I mean, I've just seen it and they keep dangling it. It's obviously their new product that they launched as of like 6 months ago.
Yeah.
Didn't want to give it a go, but I don't know. Are they just trying? I don't know. Is it predatory? I can't imagine it's work. You can't do a lot of customizations like you see on other performance marketing platforms. So I guess if you have any experience, I'd be interested in knowing what you think.
How many products do you have, Clay?
We have 17.
Cool. I think it's probably due to catalog size and brand, brand awareness in particular. So we work with a couple of brands that spend the full $20,000 a month every month, and they blast through it really quickly.
Got it.
And it will work for them. They've got a higher gross margin business, but these are type of the brands that are, I would say, close to being known on the high street, close to being known in the shopping centers and the malls.
Got it.
And so I wouldn't worry too much about not being able to spend the whole amount. I would definitely have it on there. Again, we want to be the number one person on the Faire algorithm at every single step across all of those 200 optimizations. We don't know all of them, but we know a couple of them. Faire Ads is obviously one of them that they're driving impressions to. What's your conversion rate look like compared to your peers? Do you know?
I don't, unfortunately.
If you bring up,
we don't have a lot of data.
Yeah, if you bring up analytics on your account and then you look up, it should have conversion rate at the middle, for example, 11% versus like a average of 4%.
So we have, we're 14.8%.
Amazing. And what's the average for your industry?
It doesn't have one.
If you go analytics on the left-hand side.
Yeah, it just says order volume and it has retailer, and then it just has a blank.
Okay, interesting. Maybe they don't. Maybe it's
not
too specific.
Competitors, I don't know.
That's interesting. But 14% is very high. What you need to do, your problem is you're not getting enough views on your account. So let's do everything we possibly can to get that. I'd be happy to
Okay.
reduce the conversion rate down to teach the algorithm that the more volume it sends you, the more you're able to cope with it, and that you can get a really steady 11%, 10% conversion rate, but across a whole bunch more views. So that's what I would be
Right.
pushing.
Okay.
And then it comes down to that gross margin question. You know that graph that I shared at the start of the call where it had
Yeah.
like basically how does a business grow over time? That's a really key graph that we should be thinking about in this respect. So we're bringing people in. If it costs us $250 to bring someone in month one, terrible. We're not profitable,
Mhm.
obviously. But you're not going to keep paying for them to come back at the end of 12 months after they've spent $3,200. So
Right.
what you will see on an ads account is someone you'll be spending let's say $100 for 12 months, right? In month one, you'll have sold $100. So you'll have spent $100 and you'll have sold $250. Yeah.
Right.
So, okay, not terrible, not great. You're not going to make heaps of money doing that. But over time, as those cohorts shift down month on month, the $100 will stay the same, but that client will have spent 1.5, 2.5, 3.2. And you'll just see that kind of drip down just like clockwork. Obviously, there'll be some months where it doesn't happen, some months it does, but it will eventually just kind of align exactly to this graph. And you'll see Faire does a pretty good job at estimating what your first year return on ad spend is, or estimated. And that's a pretty good thing to go by. So as long as that is profitable overall on an ongoing basis, then you're hot to trot, and feel free to keep spending more money on ads. Would definitely recommend.
Got it. Okay, so so it's okay to take the hit on the conversion as long as we're doing more volume.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
You know, you've got a gorgeous product. There's still room for improvement with the product photography, but
yeah, I
you know,
definitely want to take care of that.
Yeah, but
got a lot of inspiration.
Heaps more like that we can do to get as much as we possibly can. It's all about optimizing as much as you can. It's going to be impossible to do everything straight away, but that's okay. Let's look into it as well. One of the questions that you mentioned is love videos, so good. This is an amazing. This is good. I love it. More images. Great.
Yeah, that's a rare video that we have. So
yeah,
usually just the pages
and multiple videos. This is so good. You're sharing the collection is more than just this one, and that's perfect. What I would say here, and this is applicable for pretty much every business we look at, when we're looking at the product title and product description, we need to focus on the product category. So you're quite niche here, Clay. That's no problems, but there will be someone searching for Japan baby books. I guarantee it. Less than obviously someone who's searching for baby books, but I would like to see baby book here. That's the number one thing that you're selling, but you're not really, or like, how would you describe a baby book, for example? Like, what's the product category that you describe it as?
Yeah, for this, it would just be like early learning baby books.
Perfect. Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to see that. Obviously there's a mixture, right? We kind of split it up into, and Lucy will put in the chat an SEO video I done. We split it up into 3. You've got 60 characters in the product title. What you want to be doing is taking that product title and then splitting it up into a primary, secondary, and tertiary kind of word. You might not be able to get the third product descriptor in that product title, but you definitely should be able to get the first 2. The first one, I want you to focus on the product category. So I want early learning book, like French early learning book, French early baby book, French baby book, that type of thing. The second one, you can be a bit more specific to the brand. So something along the lines of like, 1 of 6 in the series. Then the third section might be another one where you again reiterate the product category, and it could be like, English baby book, focusing on France or whatever that. It's hard to kind of get exactly what they look like. On Bare Kind is a great example and an easy example. But here we go. Grey dog socks, bamboo socks, grey socks. The product category really clearly there is socks. I want to win bamboo socks. I want to win dog socks. I want to win grey socks. So every single section that you can do there, you can optimize it hyper specifically about your product category. Pre and carry, also something that you guys consider as well. what's your success been like on promoted listings?
Not very good. I didn't get, so I set up the minimum budget, which was $200. They only spent like $70
Yeah.
over 25 days.
Yeah.
Then I paused it, and immediately the following day I got like $4, but I got nothing during the time that I was running. I don't know. I don't know if it was just coincidental, but I've done this twice now. Like I did this experiment twice, and both times it was the same case.
Wow, that's a cool experiment. What I would definitely recommend is keeping them on if it's profitable over time. That's the key part. Kind of back to that point on the graph, bringing the clients in.
Mm-hmm.
You know, maybe this is a hack that you found out that we haven't seen before. If you get a couple retailers come in every time you pause it, maybe that's something to do each week, each day.
Yeah, and those were high value retailers too. I don't know,
Interesting.
again, coincidental, but it had happened.
True. Equally, it could be coincidental. What I would say is there's not that many hacks on Faire. You've probably got, the moment you get some, kind of a hacky behavior, you've probably just got a great business. So you can kind of keep doing all these optimizations, but I would definitely recommend for you guys where you've got high conversion rates, you've got brilliant photography, you've got pretty good product descriptions and titles, keep improving them, but also add on, try to add in some additional volume. Sorry, Clay, go on.
I have another question.
Yeah, pretty sure.
So you mentioned about the 61-day sell-through period, and then they're ready to reorder in that time. How, like, I have no idea of how much time it takes for retailers to sell my product, except for a few retailers who I know they're ordering like every 2 weeks. So I know that, and they're saying so in their reviews. So that's great. But for the most part, I don't know. So what do you recommend?
I've done a video, which we'll put in the chat as well, and it'll show you how to download your order data, copy and paste that across into an Excel sheet, and then update some pivot tables, which I've built for you. I think you'll have to just kind of go through a little email form, submit that to us, and then it'll give you the download for free, and that'll show exactly what it is for your business.
Got it.
Yeah, it's a really good video.
Any tips for increasing sell-through other than sending out emails?
We want to kind of, what we were mentioning with Kerry with the gift with purchase type of thing. What are we doing to enable the retailer to sell more? So point of sale displays, give them abilities to, like, for example, let's bring up your products. Do you have any point of sale displays at the moment?
I do not, and I know that is a struggle with my products.
I mean, don't worry too much. They are super easy to work out. If we just go counter display units, cardboard, lip balm, I imagine there's probably something already out there. Something like this, right? You can go onto Ali and get that, or you can find someone who does it, perfect, bang. Really easy for you to, if you contact this business, let's do it for, what state are you in?
California.
There should be somewhere along here where it's a Californian-based business, and they will give you exactly what they need in terms of, like, your design. You've got great design already. So you should be able to just apply it to a point of sale stand. And then what I would do is we sell them for cost plus a little bit, just so you're not losing money on them. But think about it as marketing. This will also be pride of place in a retailer's store, because you've given them something else that that isn't going to be seen elsewhere, and it makes it really easy for them to do their job. The question that a store owner is going to get with your type of product is, why is this any better? How does this work? After shower, rich in vitamin A. All of these great design sections that you have on your packaging, let's let's share that, at the higher level of the product display on a display unit. That's exactly, that's the number one thing I would probably recommend you to do. And then you've got a whole range of products. You can, through Shopify, set up flows that will automatically add a product if it hasn't been on someone's cart before when they've made a purchase, or it hasn't been in their order, I should say. And that should give you an example of, okay, so they come in for the after shower body oil. Would they typically buy anything else pre? Would there be something else that they would add?
Yeah, they would buy the body wash with it.
Body wash as well? Perfect. So maybe someone hasn't added that before, and you could just have a quick look, add that in. That's the type of thing that will start to bring customer loyalty, and it's hard to scale, but it's one of those things that will just keep bringing people back and back and back. Then the second thing I would say, or third I probably should say, is we highly recommend a cal.com link. I'll bring that up as well. A cal.com link basically looks like this, and it enables you to book a call with someone. We do this for our businesses. How do I share my screen? We give a cal.com link. It's free to sign up for. It connects directly to your calendar. And then with every single one of our messages that we're sending to a retailer, we give them the ability to speak to the person that owns the business. If, for example, with me on Bear Kind, or my sister-in-law who now runs Bear Kind, this is an amazing thing for you to be able to build a relationship, because suddenly someone that's working with you as a retailer they're going to be sat there in the store, they're going to see your products every single day, and they're going to have a conversation. When that person walks in, they go, actually, I had a chat with Pri the other day. She made an amazing business. She's actually improving this with her formulation. These are the new products that she's got coming out. And that relationship you build there will not be usurped. Faire is a fantastic transactional platform. You can make it a fantastic relationship platform if you invite people. We do this with everybody. Even if they bought one product, or even if they bought thousands of products, you'd be so surprised at how often people are then going to take that one conversation and then keep coming back.
Thank you. This is fantastic.
Amazing.
And sorry, where along the lines did you provide this, like as part of the flow for the in-person meeting?
We whack this at the end of every one of our emails and in every single message that we send out. Clay, I wouldn't send it out to leads. I would send it out to customers though.
Okay, got it. We'll have to figure out our spin on that, but I like that.
Yeah, it's a great thing, right? You mean you've got some awesome authors out there. What's coming up next? You can have a quick scan of their account as you join the call, as they come onto the call, and you can see, oh, okay, interesting. They've always bought the Asian style books. Why is that?
Yeah.
Dig a bit deeper. Maybe there's something, they go East Asia, but not otherwise, and you can find out a lot about a business.
I love it. Thank you.
Yeah, awesome. Guys, thank you so much for coming on to the call. I think we had a couple of questions submitted previously about, if I share my screen, the lead section. And I think we've covered them quite nicely already, just using Google Maps and kind of covering the main sections. We also got people asking about how can I grow my business further. Couple things that I would highly recommend is go for 0 MOQs. Be as retailer friendly as possible. Cold outreach, always key. Sell to brick and mortar and online stores, definitely would recommend that. Maximize the ad budget as much as possible. This is kind of generic guidance without going into too much detail, but just I think always helpful to view. So that's pretty much it, guys. Really light on the pitch. The reason why we do this is because we run an agency that helps business owners that don't have the time. If you guys know any of those business owners, please let them know about our services that we offer. We essentially help businesses grow like we did, from 0 retailers to 2,000 retailers in 2 years, and we did quite well there. So that was really good. If you want to go through your account in more detail, specifically, we also offer an audit, which is I think $200 at the moment, where we'll sit down within an hour, and at the end of that hour, you come out with a clear action plan of exactly what you need to improve. And of course, guys, please like, subscribe, and follow for more. The biggest thing for us, guys, is just the comments. So please do keep leaving them. And yeah, really appreciate your time, guys, tonight. Have an awesome day if you're on the West Coast. Otherwise, hopefully speak to you guys soon.
Thank you so much, Andrew. Really appreciate it.
Cheers, guys.
Thanks,
Have a good one.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.